Hey, how you doing? This is going to be the fourth episode of game news, of video game news. I don't have a name for this show or nothing yet. I don't have. That's maybe when I start building an audience, I'll start getting into branding on this. But in in my opinion, the most entertaining update of recently right now is that we do have in fact some kind of Switch refresh. It's basically a perfected Switch of the current of like the current hardware. Nothing overly upgraded as far as the handheld experience. It's a little better. The screen's bigger. We don't know the resolution of the screen because resolution really does make a difference with how much of the GPU you're using, how much the battery life you're going to be using. So we don't know if it's going to be a higher resolution screen for handheld, but we know it's going to be a larger screen and it's going to be an OLED screen. In my opinion, it's basically going to be the replacement for the current Switch. The only added increase for the dock is Ethernet plug-in, so that's going to give you better connectivity directly to Ethernet and the internet for online play. But as far as it's going to be better overall handheld experience. Everything else is really the same. And most entertaining about this whole situation is that even days after this announcement, and people are really calling for enough with the hype around the Switch Pro because there's no information about it, is that there's still rumors flying around that there could be a Switch Pro coming like sometime later, maybe next year. That's literally what this headline says right here. And this is even after all this stuff, people just can't stop talking about wanting a Switch Pro. And I've already said some stuff about it. You can go find the previous videos. For at least until after the new Legend of Zelda game comes out, I really don't think there's a reason to have an upgraded Switch. But when it comes to third-party games, not having some kind of upgrade is going to be kind of a hamper to them because it's getting harder and harder to switch modern games out to the Switch nowadays. So those, like a Modern Vintage Gamer, he acknowledged that, even better RAM, more RAM, and better memory bandwidth would be beneficial to getting more third-party ports out in the future because at this point, under less than 4 gigs RAM isn't going to cut it. The bandwidth is a bottleneck. But even when you upgrade RAM, that affects how future games are going to be made, how they run on a Switch Pro with upgraded RAM versus the base Switch. So even on that, it would goof up a bunch of stuff. So even with that in mind, I don't think it's realistic to do. I don't think they're going to have an upgraded Switch Pro style thing, what we're all looking for, or what some people are looking for, until well after the new Zelda game is probably out, because they're going to make sure as many people as possible can play that game. That's my prediction, is that if there's ever going to be some kind of upgraded Switch, it's going to be later than that. Other than that, so a new Assassin's Creed game has been announced. Basically now they're going to have both their teams be making one game instead of having kind of a Call of Duty style switcheroo. They're basically putting all hands on deck on this new service type game. It's going to be a live service game, whatever that means. I think I think they're going to be chasing something a little bit more like GTA 5. If I just had to guess, we don't really know anything, but if I had to guess, it's going to be something like it probably has its own single player campaign built into that with an online maybe different modes of online multiplayer, and then some kind of co-op multiplayer raid mode with friends, kind of like a heists or not quite Destiny in those types of raids, but more like I don't play these kind of games. I don't know how to describe it. I'm a single player guy. But the stuff like, how GTA has the heists. I imagine it's going to be like that. I think, GTA 5 is one of the highest earning games the last 8 years since it's been out, especially with its multiplayer, the way they monetize that and everything. So I think Assassin's Creed going in that direction, a little less of a Destiny, a little less of a, that game is fully in the multiplayer. That game is fully in the multiplayer space. I'm thinking a little bit more like GTA 5, single player experience, something to hook the players for a long period of time, like a multiplayer mode, multiplayer matches. Something more arcadey, like something that gets you, in-game rewards, and then your co-op raid type games, whatever you want to do. If you're a bunch of assassins, going doing whatever they do in modern Assassin's Creed games. Haven't played much of them either. So that's basically it. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of disappointed. I haven't really played a modern Assassin's Creed game. I think I played Origins for like a half hour, just kind of dipped my toes in it, see what was going on. But I have been recently, I started playing it a 4, Black Flag, because that's something more what I'm used to when I played Assassin's Creed back in the day. I played the first three. Both both the first two Ezio games and the original game. That's the ones I played, and I haven't really touched Assassin's Creed since then. I tried playing 3. I didn't like it very much. I haven't really played an Assassin's Creed game since then. And then last piece for now, Tencent, the company that owns 40% of Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite and others. Tencent, the Chinese mega corporation that owns half of the gaming industry, basically. They're starting. This is only in China, so don't get too. This isn't super crazy. This is basically on a par for Chinese authoritarian spying on their own citizens type stuff. They're using facial recognition to enforce gaming curfews on Chinese children. So basically, like after 10 o'clock at night, kids in China are not allowed to be able to play these games because, if they're on their phone, if it's obviously they're playing some kind of mobile game with a camera built into the phone, Tencent can see your face and say, hey, we know who you are. You're this age. Time to stop playing the games because you have school tomorrow because we're the Chinese government. Not that Tencent is the Chinese government, but, they're... Why would Tencent care if they weren't mandated by the CCP to do this? So obviously this is just the CCP mandating to make kids stop wasting time playing games, which the CCP, it's very authoritarian, very Big Brother, very 1984 is the book, isn't it? Yeah. That's pretty nuts. It's super nuts to me if you think because imagine if the U.S. government said that kids under 14 are no longer able to sit and watch TV at night anymore. How do you even enforce that? Because every kid, you have different situations, but if you have your government's, okay, I'm rambling on, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, that's all I have to say today. So, see you guys next time. I think I took like a week off because I was either on vacation and getting sunburned, so I didn't really want to be in front of camera for a while now. But yeah, look, I'll probably bang another one of these videos out before the end of the week, so I got some more news to catch up on. So so if you want to keep up on those, subscribe, like this video, comment if you have anything to say about any of these news pieces. But have a good day. See you guys later.